Hello my darlings, and welcome back to a Design Me Devon. We haven't done one of these in a very long time, and I just really wanted to do one today. In the next few weeks, I'm going to be bringing back a few of the older sort of videos, some Google Earths and whatnot, and what better place to start off with than a lovely Design Me Devon? So that is what I have been and gone and done. I've already renovated this place and I just absolutely loved it. I had so much fun doing this, I really did. So that's it. Nothing more needs to be said. Let's whip on over and let's have a look at the build in question. You can use my code BUMPKIN at checkout on the EA app or at sims.com. I receive a small commission from your purchase and you greatly support me and the channel. Thank you so much. And so here it is, the old barn for conversion, and this was done by the simmer Jane Builds. So thank you so much, Jane. I absolutely loved this. So previously was owned by the local farmer who's not used it for years. With the profitability of farming in England sadly declining rapidly, which is very true, support your local farmers, thank you. The farmer had to diversify and converted his land into a solar farm. So these buildings fell into disuse. With a sagging thatched roof and abandoned farm vehicles, this property is in need of full renovation, but would make a beautiful barn conversion and a characterful home. Hashtag Design Me Devon. She also says as well, which I had to do this too, someone told me the debug grass is stuck, so very cleverly, just put some plants over the top of it, use the hammer and drag it and it gets rid of them. So that is indeed what I had to do. But thank you so much, Jane. This was such a wonderful build to get my creative juices flowing on it. I absolutely loved it. But yeah, let's go and have a look at the actual build in question and in game before we actually go ahead and I'll show you how I renovated it. And here she is. Here is the barn in question. I just got my creative juices flowed when I saw this. I was just like, oh, this is going to be a great build to renovate because there's not tons of things I have to think about. This is a blank slate, a great lot for renovating and making into your own. And I was like, how am I going to do this? So what I decided to do was put a second floor on this one, which is the main house. We go for a nice sort of modern contemporary look. I changed the brick. I wasn't happy with the brick. You'll see the brick that I actually put in. You know this brick here is just not the one for me. We still go for a nice brick, but in my head, it was kind of like cleaned off and pointed and whatnot. Lots of things were going with that. And yeah, it was a really nice size. I actually managed to make this a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom house. One of the bathrooms being an ensuite. Down here, it was very much open plan living. You'll see that as we go ahead. And then with this build here, in the beginning, I was like, oh, this would make a lovely little annex for a separate little dwelling for somebody else to live in. But as I was building, I was like, oh, do you know what? Actually, this would make a great pool house. So I do an indoor pool in this area with a couple of showers and stuff and have this all open plan or open space area here. I put a nice new lawn in. We put some sun loungers out, a nice dining area and barbecue. It just came together really gorgeously. It really did. And I had so much fun with it. This is so beautifully detailed as well, Jane. So thank you so much for popping this in. I just feel this looks so realistic and it just feels abandoned. And I was very much for it indeed. But yeah, that's it. Nothing more needs to be said. We all know what's going to happen now. Let's get on over to the build mode. Oh, no, actually, it's not the build mode. The build mode. Why did I say it like that? Let's get over to the speed build portion and I will show you how I furnish and renovate this into a modern family home. And so here we are, my darlings, with the all-important clean-up process. One of my favourite things to do because, as we all know, Virgo, thank you. So I get rid of everything that I just don't want. We leave that post box because I thought that was a nice little nod to the build that was here before. I just thought it was a nice little way of doing that. I also see where these big barn doors are, the slidey doors. I don't leave the actual doors. In the beginning I was going to do that, but I decided on getting a bit more glass and a bit more natural light in. So I put some bifold doors on one of them, and then on the other we put the front entrance and I do a bit of an extension, and we copy the texture that we use above on the second level once we get to building that on that level too. One of the things I did do with this build, just to change it up slightly, and it could be realistic, it really could, this does happen. I changed the wall height, the medium height wall at the bottom here, I go for a short, and the same on the top as well. It was just looking a bit too tall, And that happens. You can reduce the ceiling and stuff. It's very expensive, but that's what we decided to do for this build. Yes, we did indeed. And yeah, very nice. I do, as I said, get rid of the brick here. I've always tried to work with that brick and I just cannot. It looks great on a barn, especially one that's kind of like left to sort of crumble away. But I didn't want that for the build itself. So we go for the brick from... Oh, I can't remember where the brick's from, actually. This one here. What are we pointed on right now? No, it's gone. I have no idea. I think it might be from the Life and Death expansion. It is, yeah. It's the plain brick from the Life and Death expansion. I still think it looks that kind of way, like a bit agricultural, old, and I just thought it came into play really nicely with this build, so that's what I decided to do. We put a full roof down on this for the meantime, but I actually go ahead and make that into a bit of a skylight as well, going right down onto the pool itself. And we go for a nice black tin roof on everything too, just because, as I said, I wanted to make this look contemporary and new and stuff. And it did in the end. I was very pleased with how this turned out. I think it's going to be a great family home too. So this is the front extension that I'm doing, the front sort of like porch area. I decided on making that roof a little bit longer, or roof, the kind of like flat sort of like, yeah, roof. And I do a little bit of an interesting bit with the wood there, the wall. Aiden, can you please get your words out? You're aggravating me and yourself today. Thank you. Honestly. Bifold doors where I said I was going to put them. And then this is where we decide to put all the windows. So we go for the windows that are from the Snowy Escape. I think they're from Snowy Escape. Yes, they are. Are they? I think, yeah. I think they are from Snowy Escape. And I also put in a few other windows as well. I can't remember where the windows, the landscape windows are from, actually. I can't remember. Then we do a big wall of windows on the back that I do reduce in size a little bit just because of where I wanted to put the kitchen. And you'll see that a little bit further on. Didn't want to go for any of the amazing terrain paint that Jane put down. I love the terrain paint. I just really wanted to have a whole new look here. And we go for some nice grey gravel, and we do put a nice bit of a lawn area in here too, which I just thought worked out really nicely. This was me testing all of the gravels, and in the end I do go for the darker grey one. It just fit in with the aesthetic of everything that I was doing a lot more than anything else. I also leave that old water pump over in the corner in too. Again, I just wanted to pay respect to this being an agricultural building, and I still wanted to have little remnants of everything everywhere, and I think that it worked. I wasn't going to get rid of the gate in the beginning, but I actually get rid of it, and I do something really nice here just to make it look, I'm going to be using this word a lot, agricultural, but still modern. It's just a frame at the front, big enough to be able to get like vehicles and stuff in here, but I just wanted it to have a little bit of a flair throughout the front of it, so that's what I did. We plant a new hedge in the front here, one for a bit of privacy, but also I just wanted to bring greenery onto this lot. Did I end up putting a new tree in? Yeah, I put in a couple of new trees, actually, I think. We keep the one that was still there before we started renovating. All of the wallpapers were disappearing as I was doing this. It was bloody annoying. It really was. And yeah, I was fuming about it, to be honest. Absolutely fuming about it. But it didn't matter in the end. It didn't matter in the end. We got there in the end, and that's the main thing. And this is me deciding to put in a skylight into the pool area. And then I just map in the pool roughly, and we leave this alone for a minute, and we go on to other things. I just wanted to get everything kind of mapped in everywhere before I actually do move on. We end up going for the bifold doors here too, just so it kind of blended in with what we've already renovated. Which I think it does. And yeah, it was just great. I think this is going to be a lovely lot to play in. I think this would be a good kind of legacy starter house. I know starter house, they would have to be a rich family, but I could just imagine this being a good house for a family to kind of be brought up in. We are in the area, I've not even said that, we are in the area of Windenburg, by the way, at the top where the rustic residence house usually is. One of my favourite lots to build on, if not my favourite lot to build on. I love it. Cannot wait to get to Windenburg to do this. I think a church would look great up on this hill. So I think this is where I'm going to be building a church. That could change. If you hear snoring in the background, it's Daisy. She's asleep. I just heard it through my mic. I did not fart. Thank you very much. So I go ahead and put in you saw me putting in these planters everywhere. I go for a bit of a tall tree in there just to like sort of frame it in nicely. Again, bring in a bit of greenery into everywhere. And with this front bit, because this lot that's one of the bad things about this lot, it's kind of really far away from where the lot starts. Like you can't like terrain paint up to the edge and stuff. But I decided on using this object here that I used to death, which is also from Get Together, and it just framed it in a little bit better. And then I was able to bring the terrain paint that we've used, the gravel, out to the front of here. And I don't do it all the way down. I leave a little area or a little edge here because I put in some bushes and stuff here. Again, I just wanted a little bit of greenery out the front here too. And I also think I put a tree here. I can't remember. Or the tree might go in the hedge off to the left now. Can't remember, but there's definitely a tree that I put in. And it really worked. And this is where I was like, right, this is too much gravel. I want a lawn. So we do this. You know I love a striped lawn. So I decided I'm bringing a striped lawn into the game. And this is me, because this is classed as a closed-in room, finding out that I needed to go in and sort that out before I could put the kind of lawn border in, which is what I'm doing now. And yeah, looks nice. I ended up putting some sun loungers and some surfaces on here because within the pool house it wasn't really big enough for me to have sun loungers in there, or just loungers, you know. So yeah, and I wanted to get in so they're not walking all on the lawn and stuff, each side of it just having a nice little stepping stone moment, and it would stop your lawn from getting all messed up then. And yeah, it was perfect. It was just fine. I was even thinking about putting the dining table and chairs here, but I decided against that and pulled out some sun loungers instead. I mean, sun loungers, I'm imagining this in the UK, this house, so they're not going to get used all of that often, but I put them in anyway, you know? Why not? Why not indeed? And then we use some of these lights that don't really light up very much. They're from I forget where they're from. I think they're from the Riviera kit pack, and they're meant to be used to put on top of tables and stuff. I don't really know why, but I always use them as floor lights, but they don't really give off loads of light, to be honest with you. So it's pretty pointless. This was me in the beginning thinking, oh, we could wrap the edge of this in a little hedge around the bottom. And the more I was looking at it, I was just like, it just looks stupid. Let's just terrain paint back there, keep it simple. Sometimes keeping it simple is the best way to go. It really is. I really like the interior inside as well. We go for very earthy tones in the interior. And I actually really like the kids' bedroom that I did. I liked the colours in the kids' bedroom. You'll see that in just a second. This is me fighting to find the bloody stone. I hate not being able to eye drop. Sometimes the wall trim is just so annoying. Just give us that bloody option, for goodness sake. Don't give it to us one time and then take it away the next time. And that's what seems to happen with that. It's very bloody annoying indeed. And yeah, more greenery. We put this everywhere. And it just came out nice. I was so happy with how this came out. Again, as I said, we wanted an outdoor dining area, so we're getting a nice barbecue and a nice patio set out the front, just off of the bifold doors as well. And we used these wonderful olive trees that came with, I think these were from the sleek bathroom pack. Could be wrong, but I'm sure that they are. And then a nice fire pit here too. We put in a nice fire pit over in this area over here. And I just think that'd be a nice little space for your Sims to be able to come out and just chill out. And this is what me putting in another tree as well now, and one in that hedge. I was right. Okay. And yeah, I just wanted a nice little area, kind of like secluded out the way, relaxing, and yeah, beautiful. I was very pleased with it. Very, very pleased with it indeed. So I will be bringing this out sporadically. Design Me Devon, same with Google Earth. They were never ever forgotten about. I just wanted to do new things, you know. Sometimes when you play a game as much as I do, and that's The Sims 4, it's nice to branch out and do some different things before you get so bored of something, you know. And I was verging on another burnout, and I was just like, I can't do that. I cannot do it. I'm not burning out on something that I love. And that was just the way that I had to do things. But it's nice to come back and revisit this series every now and again, and that's what's going to happen with all of them. So just be on the looks out, darlings. Yes, indeed. So pool house, you saw me put in that like strip above the skylight, that is to hang some lights off. We actually do some really low hanging lights over the pool, and I actually really like how it looks. A couple of showers in here. Obviously, you're not going to be naked, or you could be. Whatever. If you want to be naked, you can. We were all born that way, you know. But I wanted a couple of showers here so they could. So in the beginning, I was going to do a gym and stuff in here, and I was just like, no, I'm just going to keep this as one, like a big pool house. And that's what I decided to do. And I'm glad that I did, because I like the vibe of it in here. I really do. I just think it really fits in with everything. And these are the lights I decided to put over the pool itself. We lift them up, make sure that they touch everything there, and they did. I was very pleased with it. You'll see that a bit more in the video tour towards the end. A mailbox, a bin. We're getting all the important things now before we move into the interiors. Oh no, we're getting some lights as well. They're just as important. We put lights everywhere, and I even do some by the pool house as well. So into the interiors, starting with the main living and entertaining space. I go for that huge TV. In the beginning, I was like, oh, is that a bit big? But I was just like, this is a big open plan entertaining area. Having a big TV would really work in here, and that's what I decided to do. Use a lot of Pierre Sim's refined living room, because it, in my opinion, the best kit pack to come into this game. It really is. I just wish it was a full house worth of stuff, not just the living room. I really do. But yeah, I use that to death in here. We've gone for bare concrete flooring, the exposed stone walls, and I was just really happy with it. Really happy with how this all turned out. I think I changed the color of this lamp. I can't remember. Do we go for a bit more of a pinky lamp? I think we may do. Maybe not. We stick with the copper by the looks of things. Here, I wanted to give some feeling of separation from the living area to where the kitchen and dining space is. So I put that kind of like steel rafter beam across it. A little bit of a wall just to give that feeling of separation in a very much open plan area. That's a good way to do it. And I used the base game kitchen. I love that swatch in the base game kitchen, and I thought it worked really lovely with this whole entertaining space. It was just perfect. Really was. And yeah, completely happy with it. Nice big kitchen as well. And then I put in, you can see I've changed the windows. I do those kind of landscape windows just by the kitchen at eye level. You know, when you're like cooking and preparing and stuff, it would be nice to look out and see some greenery out there. So that's what I decided to do. And then we go for a nice island here too. So a nice big island actually. And this is where I put a sink. I put a dishwasher on this as well. And sorry, I got a bit of an itchy ear. And yeah, works out nicely. Works out nicely indeed. I was a bit worried with the space about fitting in a dining area, but this one here just worked out to be perfect. I even tried 6 chairs on that, but it just looked a little bit too swamped. So I've gone for the 4 chairs instead. Using all of the art from the refined living room too. Lots of plants. And I end up separating this area here off with a bookcase. I was like, oh yeah, we do need a bookcase. So I put this in a little bit later, and it just fit in with this build perfectly. It really did. Just a gorgeous bit of work. And then I put in a little desk underneath the stairs that we've got coming down on that stone wall. Now this area here is the little entrance. And I decided on using this as the shoe cupboard and the coat cupboard, I would imagine. I imagine those kind of like swing open on either side. And we've got a bit of a coat cupboard going on there. And it just worked. I'm just looking. Have I left a bar stool out the front? I think I have. Don't worry, that won't be in the after video. I'll make sure of that. And then we've got a little bathroom downstairs too. So I end up putting a shower down here just because I would have thought in my head, if you were living in this house in the countryside, you're more than likely going to have some dogs. So this would be the perfect area to come and wash the dogs. Even a guest shower, you know, whatever. But I just thought it would have been a good little number to have that down here. Works out rather nicely. So this is the main bedroom. The main bedroom has the ensuite. So it's got a small ensuite with a shower. Again, we're sticking with all those very neutral, natural tones in here. It's just my shit. It really is. We do put a tiny bit of colour in the teen bedroom. Not too much. It is very natural again. I think I put a bit of colour. I think it's like a soft pink. And then with the kids' bedroom, we do punch a little bit more softer tone still, but some colour in there. But yeah, I just love the vibe of this. What am I looking for here? I have no idea. What do I end up putting here? Oh yeah, a little floor light. I was like, what am I putting there? I wasn't enjoying the lighting over in that area, so I just think it needed brightening up a little bit. So this is the teen bedroom. So very, I mean, it punches a bit of colour in. Do you, Aiden? That bed is like a soft pink, but because of the light and temperature that I chose for this place, a very warm light, it still looks very neutral indeed. So really, the only colourful room is the kids' bedroom itself. But I just think this is a very classy, lovely house, and I just think it'd be perfect for your Sims, whoever, you know. I think I moved those a little bit, and I put a mirror in the corner there. I do, yes. But that's it. That is gorgeous. I didn't show you how I furnished the ensuite, but there is 3 bedrooms, or 3 bathrooms, sorry, in this place. And this is a little bit more colour. You can see I put a little bit of a striped wall. We play around with greens and pinks and lighter timbers in this room. And I just thought it was fun. I thought it was really nice. Pop a yellow here and there, and also a bit of blue. Just all softer tones, but I just wanted a little bit of colour, and I decided on putting it into the bedroom here. And it's very nice indeed. Very gorgeous indeed. I think it turned out wonderfully. Yes, indeed. So the final room, and this is where I'm going to leave you now, is the big bathroom. And you know what goes into a bathroom, don't need to say. But that's it. You're going to go and watch the before and after video tour now, my loves. And I'm going to be back tomorrow with some more Let's Build the Worlds. Yeah, nothing more to say. Goodbye.